Marty, we'll start with you.
Hey, Tommy, we'll just start off, I guess. How was training this week? How's preparations?
I'm not sure you can constitute it as training, but more regenerative and tactics talks. But yeah, it was light, it was low. We're just trying to manage the energy in the position we're in. But yeah, we're ready to go.
I just wanted to ask about Ahinga and Ali Musi and any other injuries that you have updates on.
Yeah, Ali Musi was a grade 2 hamstring tear in the match against Forge. So ETA mid to late September. Possibly Ahinga is day to day right now. He was more just a grade 1 strain. So we're just looking at that. Danny Kaiser, unfortunately, looks like ankle ligaments. We don't know the severity until the swellings come down, but that might feature the end of his, because we were going to, he was going to go back to UBC anyway. But unfortunately, it's a little earlier than we'd anticipated, because the guy's been terrific for us. Oliver returns in early September from Brazil, where he's been doing some of his rehab. And then both Mason Trafford and Richard Luca, they're day-to-day. So we'll have some fitness tests on them tomorrow to see if they can be close to being part of the action. And if not, there's another game Sunday.
Good, how in-depth that was. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marty. Brandon, we'll go to you next.
Thanks, Paige. I guess since Marty's taking the injury question, I'll take the question on just previewing the match against an offensively strong Pacific side tomorrow.
How do we feel about that?
Yeah, just a couple of words on coming up against a strong offensive side like Pacific tomorrow.
I think we're seeing the best of Pacific right now. I think they're a very exciting attacking team. Bustos is playing well. Blasco's coming back into it. They've got a high threat going forward. I think they're strong now at the back. They found a bit more of a rhythm. Yeah, I think this is their form part of the season. So to be there or thereabouts with them when we're not yet at our best is not a bad thing to be. I think it'll be a different experience for them coming to play on grass. I don't think they've played on that and on Atco Field and in front of our fans. So we hope it'll be a good game, but these are the games you want to be involved in. I think Pomadou Carr and James Merriman have done a terrific job with galvanizing that squad. They're very consistent, and they've added some nice pieces with Manny Aparicio and Ollie Bassett in there. So good side. We're looking forward to playing against them. Our guys are on a good run of confidence. We've won 4 out of our last 5, so it should make for a really good match.
Thanks, Tommy. Appreciate the really in-depth injury report there. Just pursuant to that, we saw Pacific just now earlier announce that they've added Robert Boscovich to their roster. And I know you might be down a couple of guys for the match tomorrow. Is there any chance we might see similar new signings for you guys? I appreciate you might not be able to divulge on that much, but
listen, possibly, because obviously adding Ben Fisk was important for us. Look, Bosco's a great lad. He was with us on loan last season. He's a good left-sided defender and terrific around the locker room. So I'm happy to see him continue his playing journey. Listen, for us, we're looking now about what options we have, because we're getting very, very close to our cap lock. We are very close to being under that 16, so I think it'll be either myself, Martin Nash, or Leon Apgood coming out of retirement just to plug some gaps, but I don't think anybody wants to pay to watch that. So we'll as soon as we're done with this press conference, we've got a few irons in the fire to see how we can just get through this next couple of games and get some roster relief, but no updates to give you as of presently.
So no chances of seeing Jordan suit up on the bench there, eh?
Yeah, Jordan Santiago. Oh no, he's no. We've told him he's not even close. He's had a bad off season. He put on a little weight, and I don't think he's in physical shape.
I appreciate the updates, Tommy, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. Conrad, you can go ahead.
Hey, Tommy. So we are going to not see Jose Escalante due to the 4 yellow card suspension.
Yep. Yeah, it seems to be.
We've got a couple other guys that are close to that suspension mark as well. Does that affect the roster rotation?
Interesting. I got sent a stat yesterday about number of yellow cards, and it's almost reflective of the league standing. So it's either we're really competitive and they quantify in results, or that we're having, you know, some very friendly refereeing that's looking after the teams that aren't picking up the points. I'm not sure. I've yet to figure that one out, but we must definitely improve on the soft yellows, I call them, because there seem to be a lot of soft yellows going around, which puts all teams, including ourselves, at a predicament where you've got fit players that can't play and you're having to maximize your roster and the health and wellness of the players. So we have to do better. But yeah, some of them have been very, very questionable, and yeah, we've got to learn why.
I know there's a lot of passion in the fans, and Sergio commented that they need to control a little bit of that passion on the field. Is that something you've been actively talking about in the room?
Well, it is a tough one because you haven't played in front of fans for so long. You haven't played for so long. So I think how I would like to see it, and when I look at how the Euros were officiated, there seemed to be a good communication and respect from both the player side and the referee side. And just in my opinion, I've told our players we need to do better because we have to set good examples. But there's a couple of times where we got it. If you look at when Jose Escalante got his, it was on the back of the referee called a stoppage when we were in the middle of an attack. So of course Jose is going to be upset and asking the why. So to then get booked because of an error in officiating is a very, very tough one. And then I think Nick Ledgerwood was after Joe Mason was hauled down, and it wasn't even close that the referee didn't give it. So again, when he's made the foul, he's challenged the referee and then got it. So I understand it. It's something that as part of the rule we have to show respect, but in the same way, help us a little bit. Help us understand why these are being made so we can do better. And in turn, we're all growing this together. Officials, media, players, coaches. But yeah, because otherwise what ends up happening is you've got suspended players already on a loaded schedule. It puts other players at injury risk.
Thank you very much, Tommy. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thanks, Conrad.
Thank you, Conrad. Matthias, we'll go to you next.
Thank you, Paige. Well, Tommy, hi. Let me ask you about the game plan for tomorrow. Is this the kind of match when it's better not to have the possession?
Yeah, it's interesting. They pass the ball very, very well. So for us, possession, we've been one of the better sides in the league of possession, and I think we went through a 4-game haul where we didn't score. So you look at it and say, how are we moving the ball? Is it better to be, let them get as expansive as you can and counter? You got to look at the tools you've got in your toolkit for that very game. We are probably we're a bit like a Swiss Army knife in terms of we can play a very, very good defensive game and sit low and counter, or we can play a very, very good expansive game and play a lot of possession and cut teams open. So it depends on the fitness of our players, really, to be honest, on what we've got and how high we press and where we go with our defensive thing. We'll come down to it. And then there's the in-game adjustments. If we feel that they're getting possession on a certain area we want to stop, then we adjust. However, it could be that, we put in a very, very attack-minded group that's also at home on the front foot. So we'll have a few, chess moves up our sleeve too.
And I will want to ask you about the formation. You have been playing with 3-4-3, and maybe with so many injuries, it's not possible, right?
That's one of the many formations we've played. I think we have 11 names that we put on a piece of paper or put on a chalkboard, and that's it. We work very much on this, what we call our tactical fluidity. When we're in possession, sometimes it will build out in a 3. When we're in defense, sometimes it will defend in a 4-4-2, if you will. It's very fluent and changeable based on what the other team has in their weaponry and what we have in ours. So we're constantly moving and nuance based on that, but our principles stay the same. We are a very energetic team that like to press up high. We're very quick with our passing. But 3-4-3 is not really our formation. I'm not sure I could give you what our formation is because it changes so often in games and before games.
Thank you, Tommy. Good luck.
Thanks, Mateus.
Thanks, Mateus. Moses, you can go ahead.
Thank you, Paige. Tommy, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mo.
Let's talk about Pacific. Top two teams in the league going head to head. You know, obviously that's got to get the competitive juices flowing for you and your club.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing their very best. So it should be a really good match. I think they're on form. They're scoring goals. This is who they are. So I think they're showing their best hand right now. What's great for us is we don't even have our best 11 ready, and we're a point off them. So I think that's a really good card in our sleeve because, like I said over and over the 28 games, it's just about getting minutes, finding rhythm, finishing in the top four, and then who we really are has to come out in the playoffs. But we've got to get there first, so this is just one of many games we're going to play against them. Whatever we've got available, we'll put against them, and we'll look at where their strengths are, look to nullify, and we'll find some cracks in the armory that we'll try and exploit.
There's something has to be said about, you know, facing players that you formerly coached. They just recently signed Robert Boscovich. So a guy you were familiar with last year at the Island Games. I don't know if just because he is going to be making, I don't know if he's going to be playing per se, but at least, you know, you have an idea of what he can provide and what you guys could probably use as your advantage, or perhaps what are some of his strengths and that you're going to have to counter. But just your thoughts in general in this game. Are we going to expect a tight matchup? Are you expecting one that's going to be a little more free-flowing?
I'd like to think so. Listen, for us, this is our stadium. You know, we've got a great winning record here. We very rarely lose at ATCO Field, and long may that continue. This has to be a fortress, and we want to make it as uncomfortable forever. The way our fans are hanging over, it's a different environment. The pitch, you know, is grass pitch, one of only two in the league. It plays different than the turf. You know, at Pacific, it's a very grippy, slow, but they move the ball quite well. Can they do that on the grass pitch here at Spruce Meadows? That'll be a different thing that they'll have to adjust with. So these are the marginal gains that we're going to use, but we expect a terrific game. Like I said, they're on form. I think Pamadou Carr and James Merriman have done a great job with that team, and we look forward to seeing where we are right now in our journey against them, because last time they beat us handily at theirs, but like I said, we're not yet at our strongest, and we're right on their heels. But we'll keep riding the peloton, keep conserving energy, and make sure that we're in tip-top shape for the run-in.